Hey everybody, it's your girl Sherry. Welcome back to another episode of a Legend Actually podcast. I am joined today by my Bravo bestie, Joey. Hey Joey.
Why? Hello.
Hello. And on today, we are going to be recapping the latest episode of Bravo's The Valley, Season 2, Episode 7, Ring of Rumor. So therefore... lots to talk about here. But before we get into it, if you're new, welcome. Over here, we do reality TV recaps and we get into a little bit of pop culture every now and again. So if that's your thing, you're in the right place. If you have come over here multiple times and haven't done it yet, listen, go ahead and subscribe. You won't be sorry. Give us the thumbs up. And please, we love your comments. So slide in our comments and let us know what you thought about The Valley, what you're thinking about the other shows that are going on now, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Love Hotel, you name it. Listen, we watch it. So slide in our comments. Let us know what you're thinking. All right, Joey. So what did you think about this last episode?
You know, it's just like another winner. I mean, really, The Valley just can do no wrong. I think it's crazy that Bravo keeps finding these groups of people that are just literally made for television. I guess that's LA. I guess is where they are, because a lot of my favorites come from LA. Vanderpump Rules, Shaws of Sunset, The Valley, really, the show never misses for me.
It does not. It was so good. Yeah. There are a couple things, I want to do the whole what happened, but then I want to give my how I like to analyze folks. I'm so ready to do that on a couple of these scenes. So let's get started, guys. So the episode basically opens up with Jasmine and Melissa heading to LAX to pick up Zach. Apparently,
let me tell you, as someone that's been to LAX multiple times, you could not pay me to go there for no reason. It is a nightmare.
It is. It totally is. I've only been there in between, so I've never had to drive there. I've stayed there
driving there is an experience.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
So I guess it's true when he said, and they said they are really true friends, huh?
I don't care if it was my best friend. I would pay for your Uber. But
okay.
I'm not driving there.
Listen, I feel you. I totally feel you. And basically, that's what they said. They must truly love you, Zach. But here's the thing. So on the way up, they're still talking about the fact Jasmine is triggered by the whole Halloween night with Danny. And she said his apology at the white party was fine, but basically she said even him bringing it up now, it's just it's just triggering her. And it's until the day that she sees change behavior, I mean, that's kind of where she's going with it. That's when she seems that's what she's looking for. So they flash back 3 weeks ago and show the white party. And he tells them that he was sick on antibiotics and that he literally doesn't remember the whole night. Joey,
I don't love that.
I didn't love it either. So I want to ask you, that was
Yeah, I don't love the excuse. I hate an apology with I'm sorry, but you know what I mean? Just apologize. And again, we keep saying, what he did was so out of line, and I'm not defending him whatsoever.
No.
But that man lives rent-free in Jasmine's head, and it is so annoying. And I don't know if he actually lives rent-free in her head, or if she just literally has nothing else going on in her life. And she's well, I don't want to lose this TV gig. And this is all she has.
You know what?
This is not her first show, right?
I don't know.
She was on something else.
I don't know. I don't remember
She
what it
was. I'm going to
was.
research it. She was on something else. I remember thinking like, oh, she looks so different.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look it up now. Yeah.
So if you like, are you using this as like your opportunity to create some type of storyline for yourself? Because I mean, it's having like the wrong effect on fans. But again, she wouldn't know that like while filming, but she certainly knows it now. But I mean, like the man apologized. See, I believe that he said that he like called her like the next day, apologized. He apologized again at the white party on camera. How many times do you want this man to apologize to you?
Listen,
And then
I
you
don't
keep
know.
accepting his apology and then continue to drag him through the mud. Like, girl.
I know. I know. Listen, it is so not a good look for you, Jasmine.
It's not.
And throughout, literally last week, and a lot of this episode, it is a lot of the same. It is exhausting. And you know what? Last week we talked a little bit about where I kind of saw maybe she had a semi point of why she was triggered or whatever, but you dispelled that. We'll revisit it a little bit, just a teeny-weensy vigil, you know, like the
Oh, no,
end.
I will, because don't worry, she brings it up again, and I'm back in there with my boxing gloves defending Danny.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so basically, she's back in confessional talking about how she's not okay with him grabbing butts and asking her to call him daddy. It was disrespectful to her, and as his friend, it's embarrassing. Okay, we got it. They pick up Zach at the airport, but we find out Zach's been on a trip. He went from Texas to Kentucky with his man Benji. They have done the whole thing, met the parents. Official, even though the man is still married. That's weird. I mean, like, love Zach. He really doesn't need this for a storyline. And we've only seen like snippets of Benji. It's like, why?
Yeah, I really don't know like what Bravo's like trying to get at. Maybe the game plan is to eventually like integrate him more into like the show.
Okay.
But right now it's like really weird. And again, like very happy for Zach if he's happy.
Sure.
But like, yeah, we've only ever seen him on like screen time. So like FaceTime. So like
or flat Benji.
yeah, or like, you know, that little cardboard cutout. So I really like don't know like where we're going with this, but I mean, I guess at least it's not taking up like a lot of our time.
No, not a lot. No, it's not. And like I said, if he's happy, I'm happy for him. Then we move on to Michelle and Nia. They have met.
But before we move on, not to
Right?
interrupt you,
No.
our boy Zach has a little bit of the Sheena Shea syndrome going on, where you can't be friends with everybody, right? And like you can't be so close with Nia, in my opinion, and then be so close with Jasmine, who's on this like, I don't even know, this like war path for Nia and her husband.
Fair.
And it just seems like a little, it reminded me of Sheena Shea, where like she like wants to be friends with everybody and it ends up only biting her in like the end. Because like at some point you're gonna have to give like your actual like opinion. You can't keep agreeing with both parties because you're on national television and you look ridiculous.
Agreed. You know, I didn't think about that. He's like so upset with Brittany for doing the same thing. And yeah. I agree.
It really threw me for a loop when he's like, oh yeah, I understand what you're saying, Jasmine, blah blah. You were consoling Nia like last episode. Like pick a lane, dude. Pick a lane.
Pick a total lane, because you're right. You're right. He was so miffed about the whole Brittany and Janet thing. And then you're right. Like, he is doing both of that. He loves Jasmine. He loves Nia. He's kind of like,
yeah. I just like I don't like that, because the friend to everyone is a friend to no one.
Good point. Okay. Touche. Good job, Joey.
Onward.
All right. So at this play date, they have Isabel and Asher. ADHD moment. I have a great niece and nephew who I adore named Isabel and Asher. And they were here.
Get out of here. What are the odds?
I know. They're brother sister too. And yeah, watching them helped me like break my toe. But anyway, you know, they were by the pool running. Yeah. Anywho, so they are having a play date, which I think is so cool. And Nia asked what happened after she left the dinner. Good question, because lots. And they
Uh-huh.
do, yeah, they do the flashback of Jasmine. Like I said, this happens like nauseum on this episode. So like every time it shows up, I'm not even gonna speak on it, but I will say that she goes off again about Danny, and then so Michelle tells Nia that she got super emotional, she cried a lot, and she was very triggered about the whole episode. And Nia being Nia, she's like, well, look, I know he said he'd apologize, but I wasn't there. And my hope is that they can talk through things and, fix it, because she's fair.
And this is why she's a fan favorite.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because she could have pulled Janet, you know, right? But she was like, true T, Daddy was wrong. He said he did, but if she's that upset, let's just talk about it again. I wasn't there. Fair.
Yep.
So then she asked Michelle about Jesse, and she's like, you know what? She doesn't think that Jesse comprehends. This is so crazy to me, Joey. So we're gonna talk about this. So she says that she doesn't think that Jesse comprehends what he's doing affects her and her relationship with Aaron. Um, she says he's more interested in the fact that how it affects his mental health. You think? This girl, and then Nia joins in and says, he's a narcissist, and I'm thinking, girl, your girl's a narcissist.
But two things can be true at the same time. Because, like, let's be honest, they're much more similar than she wants to, like, let on.
Fair.
You're both narcissists.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I know that you're, like, filming. You should not, Michelle, be talking about the father of your child in front of your child like that.
True that.
And we know from last episode, that little girl is smart.
Mm-hmm.
So she knows exactly what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
And that is just awful.
It is.
Absolutely awful. It blew my mind. Like, because again, she's just on this like hill, like the mother of your child. I think that she forgets that he's also the father of her child. And yet she does like a lot of like the same things that we're seeing from Jesse. But she is, of course, so innocent. And he's this like horrible villain. And it's like, I don't see it that way at all.
Agree. Yeah. And I remember like last week we made a point. I was like, wow, true T might drop, because that is her thing. She says it again on this episode. I'm the mother of his child. Yeah. And he is the father of your child. So,
right. And now you're going to blame him for your new man, like, not standing by you. Literally, we have seen Jesse do nothing besides be nice to him, be polite when he sees him in person, invite him on his trip, whatever, with everyone else. What do we know about Jesse's girlfriend? She's like trying to like sue Michelle. You know what I mean? Like, there's been nothing but niceness coming that we've seen, again, that we've seen from Jesse, and that he's still, your man can't handle it, and it's like, well, this isn't going to work out. Then he doesn't love you, Michelle. Exactly. He's not fighting for you. He's like, oh, you have a tough ex. Oh, I'm going to see my way out. You know how many people have tough exes and have like new people in like their lives? Like, get out of here.
Agree.
Do not put that on Jesse.
I agree. I totally agree. Look, and I thought it was really funny how she told Nia the story about how Isabella like basically gave her permission to remarry. I'm like, this child is how old? And she's like, oh, mommy, I know that you and Aaron, if you want to be happy and go get married again, because you and daddy, you were married once and now you don't want to be, and she even said she can let Jesse go. What child talks like that? Girl. Anything to justify her actions.
Yep.
And she basically said yes. At some point, she would love to be married to Jesse. She wants to get married again, and she certainly wants that to be with, not Jesse. She wants that to be with Aaron. My bad. So yeah, there's that. I thought, girl, you tried it. That little girl did not tell you that it's okay to throw her daddy away and marry Aaron.
Correct.
Girl. Anywho, next we have the Jason, Luke, and Danny meet up. Whew. Danny says, was that not so crazy? Yeah. So Danny says for the last couple weeks he's been exhausted. And we know he was last week. And Luke says that, well, being exhausted has basically caused this big hubbub against the group in Santa Barbara. They do the flashback of the dinner when he's sleeping and Nia covers that he's just tired, the big blow up everybody has. And Jason says again what Janet said about him being in the pantry and chugging the Casamigos or this tequila. And she was in. Okay, so what I wanted to say, what I don't think that I understood last week, she was in there with him and he closed the door. Still not a big deal.
But again, if is it really hiding if there's someone else in there with you?
Nope. She was like this. She was like, obviously, she was watching.
Right. And again, that's where the alcohol was being housed.
Mm-hmm.
He got there late because he drove back and forth from LA to Santa Barbara in a less than 24-hour period and worked all day.
Yep.
And he came to a house where they're on vacation and everyone is drinking.
Everyone.
He wasn't sneaking alcohol in like an AA meeting. He was at their vacation beach home.
Right. Where it was being housed in the pantry. The same place he went to get the White Claw was where the Casamigos was.
Right.
So,
and he wasn't sneaking because he knew Janet was there because they were in like a closet and there was Janet in the closet. But again, and I want to know, when Jason was speaking, you knew that wasn't Jason speaking. That was Janet speaking through her husband.
Absolutely. It even made him sound so crazy because like we would get through one part where Danny would explain and it made perfect sense. And he'd be like, okay. And then he would come right back again. And I'm like, dude.
I know.
And I'm like, okay, I appreciate that you're a lawyer, but you sound stupid. That's supposed to be your boy. And then we see later that, there's some regret there, but it was totally Janet. Totally. Yep. That had him, not only be questioned on camera, but basically interrogated on camera. Like if one answer wasn't good enough, he was going to come with something else. That was basically like the same thing over and over.
And then I love that they flash back to Santa Barbara where Jason was like, it's not that big of a deal. But today, it's all of a sudden a very big deal.
Agreed. It totally proves Danny's case 1,000%. He looks crazy. Yeah. So basically in that scene, he just keeps rehashing like, listen, me and Jasmine and Janet are really good friends. And, I really just want to get down to the bottom of why you would do that, why you would drink to that capacity. And, he explains it like, dude, we've already been there. You said it wasn't a big deal. And it's proven because how Bravo does it. Production will run it back. And basically, they show him saying just that. So he sounded crazy. And then what I did love, was how eventually Danny got pissed and was like, dude. He kept on over talking to me. He's like, let me talk. You keep saying one thing, and I'm telling you. And you're right, Joey, he never, not once, not even a little bit, wavered from the story that he had from the start on Watch What Happens Live. I mean, it's the same story consistently.
The same exact story down to every detail.
Yeah.
But again, like no one's like Janet, see, again, they're interchangeable. Jason couldn't listen because he was too busy reading from his script that Janet gave him and getting her points out. Like it's so obvious like what was happening. It's just like insanity to me. Yep. And poor Luke must have been like, what is happening here?
I know, but he even chimed in a little bit, which I thought was odd. But I guess that was his one little question. He said, and it wasn't even a question. I guess it was just to prove his point. He was just like, yeah, like you told me to wake you up an hour because, you were tired. And then he was like, no, let him sleep. And then, like, honestly, so I take that back. Luke was actually trying to, like, help him with that because he said when you woke up, you were pissed. Like, what did I miss?
You missed dinner. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, it wasn't like he was, like, slam passed out. He wanted to take a little nap because he was tired. And like I said, for him to even tell Luke, give me an hour and wake me up.
Yep.
But he did say, no, what he did say, let me go back to what Luke said that made him look a little bit sketchy. He said, with that being said, and with Nia saying let him sleep, it did look like she might have been hiding something.
Whatever.
I mean, yeah. You know,
we have much bigger fish to fry in this group than Danny being tired.
1,000%. 1,000%. So again, you know, Jason keeps coming back and back. And then, like I said, he had expressed shame with his actions, Danny did. And he said, look, I have already told you I've apologized multiple times, and I'm willing to talk to them again and apologize yet again. So, like, it was a moot point at this point. So, at that point, you know, there's more that was said, it's more of the same. We're going to go to the next scene where Jax has a self-recording of himself, and he's excited that he gets a chance to see his son Cruz, and he's emotional. He's missed him so much, and he hopes to get to see Brittany as well. He wants to apologize, and he knows his actions are going to be what needs to be other than just his apology. But he says that it's been so good for him. Weight's been lifted off his shoulders. He's able to sleep at night now.
I don't know who he thinks he's fooling, because I'm assuming that if you're watching The Valley, you came from Vanderpump Rules. And, like, you're not fooling any of us.
No. Quite frankly, I mean, and then if you remember, just like a couple of episodes ago, he does these nice texts like, oh, y'all, I'm getting so much out of it, and da-da-da. But the minute that someone would challenge him, he'd rage text on them too. And it's going to be the same thing. You know, he's doing the same thing in the video. Sorry, guys, if y'all hear a little, music. I guess the ice cream truck is outside. Yay.
It's okay. I have someone with, like, a leaf blower out there, so I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know. Listen, us content creators, I've seen many that have dogs. At least I keep mine downstairs. It's quiet. What are you going to do with the ice cream man? These kids need ice cream. And it's cute music. But I don't own the rights to it, YouTube. Anywho.
That's right.
Anywho, so he's all excited. He's going to get a chance to see Cruz, and then hopefully Brittany too. And then we find out that Brittany's mom is in town, and she is staying at the house that Brittany and Jax own together. And she is going to be keeping, like, everybody's kids. I mean, Kristen and Luke brought over their German Shepherd, and, like, she's keeping dogs too, honey, so they can, like, have this wonderful shark party. But and Brittany's going to do her party over at her rental house. Now, when they're all coming first, Kristen and Luke come, and Brittany updates them on what happens on her meeting with Jax. And she says that in the beginning, she lets the nanny drop Cruz off so that Jax gets 30 minutes with Cruz by himself. And then she says that Jax wants her to come along, and so they can talk with a therapist, and it goes really, really bad. Then her mom basically says the minute she walked in, she knew it was bad. She could tell. And one of the things that Brittany said when she got home, she noticed that all the cameras had been exposed. He had put, like, cards up to block the view of all the cameras at that home, which is convenient when he was living there, so Brittany couldn't see what he was doing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. But I guess a couple days prior to their meeting, he had gone to get some things out of the home, which, again, I'm so confused. He's not yet.
Yes.
out.
Okay, so I'm happy that you're bringing this up, because I was, like, very, like, lost. Like, what kind of rehab is this?
Listen, Joey, the one where you pay however much it was, I can't remember.
$30,000 for 30
Right. Some exorbitant amount, and then I guess you can just do what you want. I mean, good
You can come and go from your home. You can just, like, leave and come back. I don't.
Listen, that's very LA of them, is it not?
You know what? It is.
Mm-hmm.
It is. But also, again, right, Jax, you thought that we don't know who you are. You were going to try to fool us with, like, that little cell phone confessional. That is insanity that you took the cards off so you can like spy on her. Insanity. That's like different like level. Like that's like some scary stuff.
I think he is scary, like next level scary. And you know what? There's rumors, like, I don't know. Have you heard the rumors that he's fired from Valley? I think that is a rumor, though. I don't believe it's true. I think if it was true, he wouldn't be at BravoCon or listed to be at BravoCon. But
yeah, plus like that video would be everywhere, and I've been searching, and it's not anywhere.
Okay. Because I mean, it's like it's not far fetched, but you're right. I think we would have seen more of that if that was true. I mean, come on, we're all watching. If there was something that came out, it'd be everywhere. But she said that, and I love Brittany, but there's things I'm starting to see in her on this season I don't love. So she lets them know, she was like, yeah, you know, because remember when he said that day that I had on the ripped jeans and the red shirt? And they were like, yeah. And he was like, that's because I have eyes and ears everywhere. And she was like, I literally thought that he had people watching me in rehab. And I'm like, girl, how?
And again, right? I'm going to play the same rules for everyone. Brittany should not be talking negatively about Jax like that in front of Cruz.
Cruz was right there. And you remember the episode, a couple of weeks ago when she was like, well, let's just wait till the nanny gets him out of the room. Well, she was so mad she didn't care this time.
Right. Right.
She didn't care. She didn't care. And so basically, she's mad because what she also finds out is that he had said, well, hey, you know, I want us to like have a fresh start and like start dating each other again. And then she finds out that he signed a lease to stay in a condo near Schwartz. And honey, that is when all bets were off. And listen, and this is okay. Now, you could totally have a totally different opinion. You probably do, Joey, but I'm just going to say it. So this is what pisses me off with Brittany. Brittany legit was going to give him another chance when she shouldn't have, with all the things that all the things that she's now coming with, and she's so mad, and she wants everybody's sympathy and everybody be on her side. Legit, she was gonna consider it until he said, I'm gonna rent a condo by Tom Schwartz. Which to me, it doesn't mean she's bad because I know what that means. You know, he's going to go back to old Jax. My thing is, what that does is feed your insecurities. If you were really willing to give this man another chance, I just don't know, like, why you would have ever even done that in the first place. There's a weakness to her that burns me up. There is a hypocrite in there. And, you know, she tells us one thing, but in private does a different. And sometimes I understand that is because of your trauma, because of your abuse. And, you know, some people are narcissistic abuse is a real thing. It absolutely is. So she's a victim of that. But my problem is you get all your friends so riled up, ready to come with, you know, burn them at the stake. But in private, you have these conversations where you're entertaining things. And then when it's not like you want it to be, then it's, hey, guys, let's rally again. He's a horrible person. I never want to see him again.
But again, though, right? Like, this is why Jax feels he can do whatever he wants because she's always going to be there. So now you, like, threw furniture at her and, like, whatever. And you did this, like, I don't know, like makeshift rehab where you can come and go as you please and like rage text people. And she was going to take you back again after all of her crap. You know what I mean? And everything that she said, all her empty threats, all whatever, like it was all for like nothing because girl, he is not changing.
Nope. Never was. And she's so mad at this point. She's like, y'all, I wish that he was not ever getting out of rehab. I'd almost rather him be in jail, where the only way he would have a phone is if he had to get it after someone shoved it up their butt. And like you see the dog like, ah. But listen, I mean, I get her anger. It's completely justified. My point is, her problem is, oh, him being free and him being out means he's going to cheat on me some more. And, it's not that, like, I have finally seen this man for who he really is. It's that I hope rehab would have made him see that. And maybe it's me. Maybe it's because I've had so many similar friends or family members in that same capacity, but it pisses me off. Because it's one or the other thing. If you're done, you're done. Whether he goes to rehab, behab, keyhab, listen. He did what he did, and I mean, actions will prove it. Because he gave you some buttery words, but then you're telling your friends like, "Oh, this dude is awful," and I cannot stand people like that, because you get people emotionally invested, and you're the very girl that will go back and be like, "Oh no, he wasn't that bad."
Yeah, but that is her. She is that girl.
She is that girl, and so there's a piece of me, because of my own traumas, I guess, that has a hard time feeling sorry for Brittany. I do and I don't. I just want her to take I hope this is what it takes for her, because we find out some more as we get through the episode, and we'll get there, but I hope this is what it finally takes for her to really get strong. I mean, she hasn't, as far as we know, gone back to him or anything, but...
No, and a few weeks ago, when she was on Watch What Happens Live, she said that there was a 0% chance of them
good, yes,
together. So.
Good. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, you love somebody. I get it. And I've been the dummy. I've been that girl too. Hard to watch for me. I don't know. So like I said, so we get past all he was spying and that good stuff, and she's upset, doesn't even want him to come out. We find out about the lease, and she said that he's now going back to his party days and his pre-Britney days, and she's just pissed off. And then she does her thing. So let's get that. Like, Michelle is the whole, I'm the mother of his child, and Britney's is, you have a son, you're a father now, and you're 45 years old. Now listen, 45 does not mean that a light bulb comes on for everybody, and now you're this wonderful person.
But also, like, what do you mean back to his party days? He never stopped his party days.
Right.
There is no back
to. And you're right beside him, girl.
He's just continuing
on. Party. Right.
Yeah, he's just continuing on his party days.
Exactly. So, yeah. All right. Next scene. Danny meets Jasmine and Melissa.
Ugh.
You know what? It wasn't as bad. And again, so I'm going to revisit this with you again, see if you feel any differently.
But you know what? Before we even get into like the scene,
okay,
I can't believe that Danny's giving Jasmine like the time of day.
You know what? It to me,
at this point,
it just shows what a good guy he is.
Mm-hmm.
He obviously cares, because at this point, you're right. If I've told you I'm sorry multiple times and we've already talked about it, I'm not wasting my time anymore.
No.
But he does.
I know.
So he meets with them, and he even says, look, I am the kind of guy, I really love my friends. And he's like, if I need to be there to validate her feelings, do whatever I can to get us back in a good place, I'm willing to do it. So that speaks to his character. It does.
Sure does.
Right? And so Jasmine makes a remark, and this pissed me off. So, they come in, and she gets her beer, her girlfriend gets her wine, he asks for water, and she's like, I'm glad to see you're drinking water. And I was like, girl. Anyway. And so he goes ahead and breaks the ice, and he's like, listen, at Jax's Halloween party, it was one of the worst nights of my life. And he said that Jason let him know that she still has some unsettling feelings about it. And so he wanted to talk about it. And Jasmine said what was bringing up things for her is the fact that she's in a relationship with a woman, and she felt pushed aside, like what happened wasn't a big deal. When on the daily, she has to defend their relationship anytime they go out. She even references them going to a bar and guys saying, like, kiss her to prove that your relationship is actually valid. And she says it's like that always. And she's like, look, just because we don't have a ring and we're not married, doesn't mean that our relationship doesn't matter. So I'm gonna bring it back up. All right. So, and she goes on to say more things like she's cut other friends off other people have treated her that way. She's cut other friends off. She really considers Danny a friend, and she just wants Danny to basically understand this is something that is just not a one-off for her. She deals with it on a daily basis. Melissa even chimes in and says, listen, if one of us was a man, the outcome would have been more serious. I guess, like, this is kind of what I was alluding to last week. And I'm going to give you a chance again and see if you feel any differently, or if you don't, you don't. But I guess what she's saying is when men, kind of seek them out because they're two women, there's no recourse. Like, it's not like if she was a dude and she could, like, fight them or, intimidate them. They know that, they can kind of like go there and like, what's the real recourse? And I mean, in her mind, maybe it's intimidating. It's if she said it felt disrespectful, but she said that she's even dated men before and never had that issue. And so I don't know. I see what she's saying. Any change in your thoughts, Joey?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
So first of all, Danny is not responsible for the fact that Jasmine cannot move on.
Okay.
That is Jasmine's issue that she needs to deal with. He's apologized now 3 times. It's not his responsibility that she can't move on. She has to figure out through her own crap what's going on with her, whatever. She continues to piss me off. Last week when she pulled the gay card about the thing and the trauma about whatever, it really annoyed me because that when you pull the gay card, that's the card you pull when you have no other cards to play. Because no one can really argue that with you. I find that to be a cop-out. Many people I've talked to agree with me. I think it's ridiculous. This week, she decides to double down on the gay card and really piss me off because by projecting other people's bias and what other people have said to you in the past and putting that on Danny is wrong. And no one can convince me otherwise. To generalize all men based off a few instances that you had, and mind you, you live in LA. You are in like one of the gayest cities in like the world. So like, I think that this whole thing is a cop-out. I think this whole thing is for a storyline. I think she has nothing else to go off of. And I find it infuriating. Because again, I've been a bartender for 20 years. I have seen girlfriends go off on dudes. Don't tell me it would have been different. No, it wouldn't have been different. You didn't do anything. You chose not to do anything. Whatever. Like, it just infuriates me. Well, guys like kiss, like show us all, whatever. That's not Danny, and that's not fair for you to put your past experiences and project them onto to Danny. That's crazy. And again, that's why if you can't move on, this clearly is like your own mental thing that you need to work on. Maybe you need to go to therapy. Maybe you need to talk to someone. Maybe you need to figure out why you can't get past this. It's not Danny's fault, and I don't think it's Danny's problem.
Totally fair. Okay.
I just couldn't get over it. You're going to generalize all men?
Yeah.
Like that? Imagine if someone generalized all lesbians. She'd be pissed.
Oh, she would. Totally. And great point. The only reason why I even said that is because I don't know if she felt inferior, like, because she can't physically, she couldn't physically defend Melissa, but no, good point. Because listen.
Sure she could have. It was Danny. He's 5 feet tall.
No. True that. She could have done more than went and make him a drink and called him dad. I mean.
Yeah. And what do girls do? No, again, not to generalize.
Right.
But I've seen it time and time again over my years in the bar scene. Girls throw hands and think that men are not allowed to throw hands back. Let me tell you right now. You want equality and you want to throw a hand first, you better be prepared for that hand back. But we know for a fact that Danny would never raise a hand.
You're right.
So you could have, but you didn't because, again, like Jasmine, you are better than that, which is why I don't know why you're doing this charade.
It is kind of, yeah. No, I totally feel you. When you put it that way, it puts all of those things that come back up to rest, and that's part of my ignorance, perhaps, or the fact that she's just making it such a big deal. I'm trying to see, is there something valid in why she can't get off the soapbox? Clearly not. Perhaps, like you said, it is for a storyline. So,
or there is, and it's internal, and that's something that she has to deal with, and stop dragging Danny along for this ride.
Agree. Totally agree. All right. Well, basically, at this point, Danny understands. He validates her feelings. He understands how she felt, and he rendered yet another apology. And at this point, we hope that this is the last of it. They seem to have made up. We'll see.
I can't take another one.
If she doesn't pass this one, then honestly, Joey, it's just it's not gonna bode well for her. Because the man has literally done everything. I mean, for him to agree to sit down with her yet again, listen, nothing else she can say.
No, but I am hopeful because I feel like the vibes were very different this time when they left that combo.
Yeah. And I mean, because Melissa also chimed in or whatever, and whether he understood it more or not, I mean, he seemed to really. I love that he took the time to validate how she felt. Whether he knew it wasn't necessarily 100%. Right, it wasn't him doing that to them, but he's like he gets out the bigger picture. So I love that. You know what I mean?
Right. It's her saying because of X, Y, and Z, that's why I reacted that way. Whatever, blah blah. But now, you got it all out. That was her other big thing, was she felt like she didn't explain herself correctly, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But now that you got it all out, we have got to move on.
Got to. Totally got to. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it anymore. So
no.
All right. So now we are at the Kristen and Luke lunch meeting with Jesse. And Luke updates Jesse and lets him know folks are still in an uproar over Danny and him not being at dinner. And Luke tells him how he met Jason and Danny and how Jason went at him. And Kristen has officially put Jason on her ish list now.
Yay!
You know how that goes. And Luke was confused over how worked up Jason had gotten with Danny.
As we all were.
We all were, because literally that wasn't him. That was...
Speaking, right.
Yeah, he was speaking for Janet. And Kristen was like, well, in her mind, she's like, I just don't understand why did he care? Why did Jason care? What Danny did.
Because he was told to by his wife.
That part. And then Kristen says Jason is in no space to judge anyone's relationship. And she was basically like, keep your wedding ring on all the time, and then you can start talking. And then she goes on to let them know that everyone in their friend group and adjacent friend group, she threw in the adjacents too, says that he's been, for the past year, he goes out and he takes his wedding ring off. And she says she heard the rumor from Zach, which it seems to be her go-to for rumors. And so Jesse, Jesse being Jesse, he's like, well, were they cheating rumors or... And Kristen's like, well, not that I've heard. So, I mean, I was like, girl... But I understood why she was going there, okay?
Yeah.
One turn deserves another, right?
Yeah, and I love that Kristen always has the tea.
She does always have the tea. And it's in her back pocket, and she pulls it out when she needs to, honey.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. You know what? That's a front. You want to go after my friend? Get ready. Buckle up.
Yes!
But I also think it's super weird because it was very deja vu, right? So last season, the rumors always come from Jasmine and Zach.
They do.
And then for some reason, Kristen becomes public enemy number one, and Jasmine's still invited on all the trips.
I know. She's repeating what they said.
Yeah.
They get skated off, and then Kristen, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how Jasmine does it, but I'd like to figure out what she has going on because she really just has that down pat.
And this episode was nothing different. Yeah. So, Jesse was like, well, it could be a rumor, or maybe the man just doesn't want to wear his ring when he goes out. Like he says when he was married, he didn't wear his ring to the gym or the grocery store. And I was like, Jesse, shh.
See, I have no ground to stand on. I've never been married. I don't know what that's like.
I mean, I never take mine off. My husband, he has to take his off at night to sleep. He claims his fingers swell. I mean, I'm the thicker girl.
Oh, you even sleep with yours?
Fine. Huh?
You sleep with yours?
Sleep in mine, shower, honey. What? The diamond does not come off. Okay, that's just sharing. It's just me. Some people do. Some people have to. So I'm not saying that that's bad. I have seen when his fingers are swollen and he's just not comfortable wearing jewelry at night. He takes it off, puts it on the nightstand. So there are days he forgets. Whatever.
My dad's like a landscaper. He like never wears his. You know what I mean? Like, I
think, like I said, it's not a big deal. Like, I trust my man. And if you do, you do. Jason doesn't give me those vibes, but I thought it was so funny that she did that. And who knows? Maybe he does. Listen, made it good to me. But Kristen says, look, I just brought this up because he's been to Nia and Danny. She's like, basically, Mama Bear is out, and y'all, I am here for it.
Same.
Mm-hmm. All right, and now, y'all, we are at Brittany's rental house. We're getting ready for Brittany's shark party. Listen, one thing that this group does, and similar, and Jay, I don't know if you watch Summer House. Do you watch Summer House? Okay. They are all about these gazillion theme parties. It gives me inspiration because I love a good party. I'm not that creative, but yes. But they do it. Summer House does it. Because there's just this big group of friends, so I get it. Okay, but Brittany's on her shark party. And she says that Zach always, no matter what they're doing, likes to have his abs painted on. I'm like, do they look good? Like, first of all, you have to have a flat surface for them to look that good. So I really couldn't get mine painted on no matter what they painted it with.
No one's painting abs on here. I'll tell you that right now.
Nor me. They'll look like some pregnant abs. No, none over here. But they look good. And so, like, everyone arrives. We have Sheena and Brock and Lala at this party, which is cool. So
super pregnant Lala, but she looks amazing.
Well, first of all, Joe, let me tell you this. Because I have been pregnant. Now, she looked so good. I was so freaking jealous. Like, I like a freaking buffalo when I was pregnant. And, like, her face was flawless. And them lips were lipping. You know how she's had lip injections. We all know that. And she always has this habit, the way she does something with that lip. But they still she looks so freaking good. But I do want to talk about Lala when I get to the scene. Because remember when I said, like, you asked if I like Sheena, and I was like, oh, yeah, she did get on my nerves sometimes, but I like Sheena. And then you asked me if I like Lala, and I said no, but then I kind of do. Now I'm going to tell you why I kind of do and don't. And we'll get there.
I love Lala.
And for the most part, I do too, but I'm going to tell you I'm going to say I love Lala. I'm going to tell you there are things about Lala I don't like.
Okay.
Yeah. And I want to explain. So, so Jason regrets going so hard at Danny, as he should.
Of course he does, because again, when you insert yourself like that in other people's issues, this is what happens every time. Mm-hmm. Now, Danny and Jasmine have made up, and they're fine, and now you're the awkward one.
Yep.
It had nothing to do with you, Jason. Nothing.
Nope. And you look crazy.
Yep.
And so then we have Michelle and Lala. I think Sheena's staying over there too. And she tells Lala that Jesse called her a whore in Santa Barbara. She wants to make sure everyone knows that.
She conveniently left out everything that she said.
Right? Did she not? Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would have mattered, but I'll get to that one. So again, Michelle is gathering up the girls that'll listen for some sympathy. That's her thing. And then we have Jasmine and Melissa asking Jesse how he's doing. And he says not great. And Jasmine asking basically, if he's still kind of like pining after Michelle. He's like, oh, absolutely not. She's not buying it. Neither am I.
If Michelle said, let's get back together, he'd be like, okay.
1,000%. So, and I think that's why sometimes, it's not like I think he's a great guy, but that's where I feel for him. She's over it. He's not. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So Jason talks to Danny about how bad he feels. Oh, nope. We already did that one. Nia was surprised by Jason's behavior. And she believes that Janet is behind it. She's right.
Ding, 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 ding.
But Jason apologized and even gets emotional. Of course, Danny accepts.
He's way too nice.
Way too nice. I think I would have left him on the hook a little bit longer than that. Because he really, Danny would say something that made perfect sense. It'd be a pause. He'd go right back in. You know what I mean? So, I would have made him fight a little bit more before I gave him my full acceptance of that apology. But
yeah,
he's better than me.
Me too.
Yeah, he's glad. Danny's glad they had that combo, and he's glad that they're back to being friends. And then Jesse approaches Lala, and he asks how she is, and how far along she is. And she says, she's good. She only has 3 weeks left. God knows I don't even like what she's filming because I would have to be laying down somewhere. But
and mind you, her neck's not fat, her face isn't fat, her arms aren't fat.
Nothing's fat, but the belly. And the belly is just curved ever so slightly. You can tell there's a baby in it. There's no fat.
No.
I know.
Unbelievable.
Good. And so Jesse tells her, look, I'm jealous because I've always wanted more kids. And Lala's like, well, if it's an indication of how you treat your baby mama, it's not true. And he's like, yeah, it's hard on both sides. And he tells her, you only know one side of the story. And she said, well, I tend to lean towards the chicks, especially if the man calls her a whore. Fair? And he says that was a huge moment of weakness. And Lala says, was it in a group text also to the guys? And he was like, yeah. And then she does ask him something with this fair. It's like, what if that was Isabella and, her ex did her like that?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, okay, fair. It's the stupidest thing he could have done. And she's like, look, I would have shown up with a shotgun. And he agrees. And Jesse said everyone can agree, or anyone can have a moment of weakness. And he admits, though, she's a liar and a cheater, because, lying, cheating, whore. She is a liar and a cheater, but he shouldn't have called her a whore. All right. Then Lala, because that was the back scene. Lala comes back. We go back to the scene, and she proceeds to tell Jesse that he's toxic and a narcissist, and she's happy she doesn't have to deal with him. Fair. But now let me tell you, Joey, why there's something that I don't like about Lala, okay?
Yeah.
Lala was all good when she was with Rand. And she had no care in the world that Randall had a woman, and they had a child. I'm not saying she didn't have any care, because I know he lied some, but she knew about her, right? As long as she was flying on that private jet, and it was Rand. The minute he did her the same way that he did the previous with her, Lala was so traumatized that now she projects on every jackass man. She has to be the hoe savior because she now came to this epiphany that men are like horrid. Randall was horrid long before she came. And listen, Randall came with that Lucci, then private jets. I'm just saying, listen, she was younger, hindsight 2020, and I get it. But because he made you look dumb in all your glory and all your fineness, and you are fine, I felt like you then decided to go on this crusade against men, that you deem toxic and narcissists and cheaters and horrid and this, and you're better than that. You don't need a man. I feel like you have to process your own stuff and stop projecting on the men. Like, you got to know the whole story. Everybody is not a Randall. I mean, there was even when she kind of gave some sympathy to Rachel, whatever, on Vanderpump Rules. Yes, there can be dogs, and some of them do prey on you or whatever. But if you are down for the lifestyle that they can give you, and you're not looking through proper lens, is that fair? Man,
It's fair. What you're saying is a fair response to like Lala. I just don't know. Like, I think that she was like young and dumb and like believed like what he was saying, that he was done with the ex, which we now know was not the truth. But I do think it speaks to her in a positive way that now her and the ex are friends.
It speaks to her, but it also speaks to the ex.
Oh, 100%. But they like trauma bonded. But
True.
Again, because I just said it about Jasmine, and I will stay consistent. I don't like a generalization. And I do get what you're saying about like now you're just on this crusade against all men that you think are X, Y, and Z. Unfortunately, with these shows, I feel like a lot of them are.
They are.
But again, though, like we haven't like really seen or heard anything about Jesse being
the cheater
out there in like the streets, like cheating or anything. You know what I mean? So, and again, like he did say, like you only have one side of the story. Which again, girls are always going to defend like their girlfriends, like whatever. But I mean, we saw it. We saw Michelle be like, "Oh yeah, he called me a whore in Santa Barbara." Blah blah blah. Blah. Did you tell? I went stomping around the house saying he blew all of our money and he's this and he's that. No, you didn't say that. You left out all like that whole part. So I don't know. I love Lala. I feel like she's an equal opportunity crazy person, and she'll attack anyone at any time.
She will. Like I said, I love that Lala doesn't care if she's on an island by herself. As long as she feels like she's right, it will be on either side. Girl, guy, doesn't matter. I'm just saying, I noticed, particularly when it was Ariana, this is back on Vanderpump Rules, y'all, so rock with my ADHD a little bit, but whether it was Ariana or whomever was dealing with something, she would roll it back to her and Randall. And I'm like, first of all, heal. You need to heal. Because everybody's situation is not yours. It's not the same. The agendas weren't the same. You fell for this rich man who I guarantee you wouldn't have looked at 2 times if he didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. He was a sight.
He looked just like Ed from 90 Day Fiance, where he had like no like neck.
Yes, but you know what I will say? Thanks to Vanderpump Rules, I love me some pickleball. Listen, it's fun. I do. I love pickleball. And I was like, what's pickleball? And then like when I figured it out, I was like, oh, let's try it. It was like so fun. But still, it just, I don't know. She gets on my nerves with that. Overall, do I like Lala? Sure I do. I love her fearlessness, her independence, her strongness, her, being strong, whatever. I just don't think that, I think she needs to own her part. I was naive. I was dumb. Yes, you were a victim, but you were a willing participant because of all that came with that, and just own it because there's nothing wrong with that either.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. So we're at the shark party. Everyone's enjoying themselves. Jesse calls Jason over to the side. Again, what I love about this group, they're friends. They're not gonna let somebody go down without a heads up. And he lets them know a conversation has been had where something. It had something to do with him, and Kristen is going to bring it up, and he just doesn't want his boy to be blindsided. And then we watch Jason just completely dork out. He's like, what I do? Who knows what I did? Zach, do you know what I did? And Zach's like, another treat. And he's like, he's overthinking it, but I think that's his personality. Like I said, when I say I'm trying to figure him out, the fact that he's an attorney makes some sense, but I don't know, Joey. Something about him I can't get with it. Some weirdness.
Yeah, it's his wife.
It's his wife, but it's also something here, right? Like if we were to hear a backstory on Bravo that something crazy happened, I legit wouldn't be shocked. He looks like someone that's so together is just seconds away from snapping, in my opinion. Heard it here first.
I thought his reaction to the ring rumor, though, I mean, came off very ungenuine. Like, it made me think, like, oh, this is definitely true.
Right. And let me just say, when he figured out what it was they had on him, he was just like, oh, shoot. Like, I thought it was really what I did. You know what I mean? I was like, dude.
I thought it was about that body in my basement. Oh, my God.
I'm like, sir, there is a camera, like, filming you here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that one, Joey, I think he bears are watching. Huh. So Jada, of course, is like, she wants Jasmine over there, and Jasmine completely punks out, and she's like, oh, no, it was like 2 years ago, and I don't know, it was just a rumor, and yeah, I mean, I just said something about it, but like, yeah, I don't know if it's even true, girl.
But once again, she'll slip out unscathed, and Kristen will be public enemy number one.
I know.
It's unreal. These people are so, like, I don't even know. They're so, like, not with, like, the earth. Like, honestly, out to, like, lunch, all of them. I don't know what planet they're on. But watch, not a word will be said to Zach. Not a word will be said to Jasmine. And Kristen will just be lit on fire.
You're right. You're right. You're totally right. I see it coming. Well, when, of course, Jasmine deflects, Kristen admits, look, I said it out loud basically because you guys were being so awful to Danny and Nia, and I was really frustrated about it. And then Jana asked Kristen if she's sorry. She blurted it out because she knows them and she knows Jason really well. And she asked, do you really think this guy would go to a bar and take his ring off to try to appear single?
That's like, not what she said.
No, she just said the rumor like that. He goes out without his ring on.
Of having any reasoning.
Nope. Mm-hmm.
And she said verbatim, I've never heard a cheating rumor. I've never anything. Just the fact that he takes his ring off when he goes out.
That was fair, because you're right, Joey.
Yeah, she didn't say anything. But again, like, Janet needs to stop. Like, Janet is not always the victim. Because she does the same stuff that all these other people are doing. And it's okay, but something happens to her, and she is the victim. Sound the alarm. It's so annoying.
I mean, let's just look at what she did, last week when she's like, oh, yeah, Nia's in Al-Anon, and, girl.
And let me tell you something. Janet will never recover from that.
Mm-mm. That was dirty.
Dirty.
Folks are like, that is just vile what you did. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. She's a vile person, though, so I believe it.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Other than her love of Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, she was, she almost had me fooled for 3 whole episodes this season.
I know. Thanks to Dave and Buster's DMV, it did it again.
And that Dave and Buster's held high for the first, night or two in Santa Barbara, but all downhill from there.
Agreed. Yeah. She's showing her true colors yet again. So, Jason acknowledged that he went after Danny, and Kristen was like, what bad? Let's see. Let me make sure I get my notes right, because sometimes I get all excited and get out of my notes. All right. So, we said Kristen admitted she said out loud because of how bad she was to them. Janet asked, if she really believed that. Kristen said, look, she hasn't been friends with them for a while. So, like, and Jason acknowledged because he went after Danny. That's why. And Kristen was like, well, what bad had you heard about him? I don't know why I wrote that down. But Kristen could care less if Janet and Jason are mad at her.
Go, Kristen, live your life.
Yep. It's simple. She said if Janet wants to go for Danny and Nia, she's going for Janet. Boom.
And with friends like Janet and Jason, who needs enemies?
Yep. So Janet wants Kristen to apologize and acknowledge she didn't believe it. Girl, bye. And she says that's how Kristen is. If someone's focusing on something that she doesn't like, then she'll throw something else out there to get the attention off of that. Oh, well. Because what you all said, you had no basis for saying it. So it's kind of like tit for tat there. I mean.
And the attention off of what? Off of Jasmine and Danny, who are fine, by the way?
Very much so. Very solid. So what did you accomplish? You want people to keep on talking about a dumb dinner that he took a nap at? It's really dumb. Janet's like, I mean, though she thinks she's a detective, that she just wants Kristen to know she's like a million steps ahead of her. No one's going to tell her about her husband. Tell her something that she doesn't know about her husband. Even when Jason goes on vacay, she puts air tags on him just to keep him safe.
Crazy person.
Right? And let's just say, like, not for nothing, they don't even look like, I don't even know how they even found each other. I mean, not that they're, I think he's attractive. She looks plain, but she's not ugly. Their personalities just don't mesh. I don't know. Like, where would they, I don't even know where.
It had to be like mutual friends or something.
Well, clearly.
Because nothing about them goes together, in my opinion.
Right?
Besides the fact that he seems to be very submissive to her.
True.
Like, she definitely wears the pants in like the relationship, I'm sure, and the household, in the marriage, with the child. So like, maybe that's why it like works. I don't know.
Apparently, she would have to have someone that is more docile like that, and that listens to what she says, and kind of like is her, her minion.
He's a yes man, right? He validates every feeling she has, everything she says.
He does. So that's fair. And Kristen said her thoughts were, how dare you judge Nia and Danny's relationship? And, it frustrated her. So,
again, same scenario, right? You can judge other people, but someone tries to judge you, and oof.
I know, right? How dare you? You should apologize because you don't know that for sure. Just like she didn't know that for sure what she said. You know what I mean? So,
right.
Hypocrite. Well, y'all, at this point, Brittany gathers the troops together to give her update on Jax. And she tells him that he had told her that he wanted to start over, wanted a fresh start. And then she finds out that he rented a condo next to Schwartz, which God knows must be like, I mean, I get it, but like, Schwartz is not like... He's not that bad. He's a nice guy. I mean, he can't control what Jax does. It's just killing me. He's going to be next to Schwartz. I mean, I know that's his boy, but he has many. He can be next to Jesse and it'd be worse. I mean, why are you going so hard?
Yeah, well, I don't think that she'd be happy no matter where he like ended up or where he moved, right? But I think it's just that she associates Schwartz with the wild past, even though I think that she's very blind that it's been a wild current as well. But I mean, I don't know. She wasn't going to be happy no matter what. So
Agreed. Unless it was that he was going to come home and, completely change and be a stand-up guy and they were going to get back in the house together, me and family. I get that.
Which was never happening.
Never, ever. No. So he's, at this point, Jasmine was like, so that shows he's not going to change, which, they all believe that. And Sheena's like, at this point, you do realize it's time for you to get an attorney. She's like, oh, yeah. And the biggie, y'all, is that she's like, I'm so afraid that this is before we know what we know, but she's like, I'm so afraid now that he's getting this place to rent this condo, that he's trying to leave and stick me with this $14,000 a month mortgage.
Which is insanity, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what else is insane is the fact that I was like, oh, is it someone's birthday? Like, why is everyone gathering around? She like gathered the whole party around to like talk about Jax. It was so weird. I was, oh yeah, she's gonna make some like big speech. And at first I was like, oh, is she gonna like announce like blah blah? It was so weird.
It's so Brittany. Like, again, that's now what irritates me about her. I told you, like in one breath, she's like, oh, y'all, I'm just so tired of Jax. Hello, Jax? Huh? Oh, no. I'm filming the after show. Okay, yeah. God, y'all, I just don't even know why he's bothering me all the time. Hello, Jax?
Fair.
You can control some of that, man. So, like, that gets exhausting, too. You can probably tell, Joey, I've had a lot of people in my life that, like, cry victim, and I'm like, I'm going to get him. And then I realize, girl, you're right back with him. I'm looking like the Stark Raven insanity person. And you're like, what? He's not that bad. But 5 minutes ago, he was the worst. Yeah.
Tail as old as time.
Right. And so, like, maybe I need some therapy because this show's like, oh my God, Lala. Oh my God, Brittany. I don't know. Listen. At this point, in confessional, she said that she was actually hopeful that rehab would, change him. But this shows that they are done. And, it really burns her up. And like I said, it's fair. She loved the man. They have a child. And the optimal thing would be that they could have figured out a way to make it work. So I'm not mad at that. I'm not. No matter how crazy I sound, I'm not. So the last thing, Brittany and Jasmine go to Jax's bar. All right. Before I even get in this, Joey, do you have something to add to like the gathering at the shark party? Or
no, it was super weird. It was super weird. She like, called everyone over to like announce that he's like moving next to Schwartz. Like, I don't know. The whole thing was just like very weird.
Yeah. Well, I told you my
But the girl just obviously just like loves attention, which is like fine, I guess. But I mean, negative or positive. But
negative. Yeah. It gets on my nerves. Like I said.
I also thought it was weird going into this like next scene that they chose to go to Jax's, and I know like technically she's like part owner because they were
yeah. Sure.
But like weird choice.
Very weird choice.
Because you weren't there in like an owner type setting. It was just I don't know, awkward. I thought
there to be funny, I guess, or like shady. I don't know.
Fell flat for me. I thought it was very awkward.
It did fall very flat. And Jasmine fell flat. She is
a crazy person.
Very much so. So they get there. The bar is quite empty, by the way. But I mean, listen, it could be a weekday time. We don't know. Listen. Jasmine puts this napkin over Jax's face, like she's doing the most on the scene. Like, girl, shut up. But Schwartz meets them there, and they sit there together. And he was going to order some of their. He thought Mama's cheese, but it's Mama's cheese. You gotta know.
Mama's beer cheese.
That's right, Mama's beer cheese. Which I'm sure is delicious, by the way. I wouldn't mind trying it. So
I would love to try it.
Huh?
I would love to try it. You know it's good.
Of course. It's Southern. Come on now. Listen. But he asked Brittany how she's doing. And she says, of course, she's stressed out. And he tells her that he texted Jax, and Jax says he's a work in progress. And he asks Brittany if he's actually putting in the work, and says he seems very at peace and serene. But Brittany wants to hear more. So Schwartz says, well, he says it's done wonders for his mental health, and he has a new diagnosis, a new meds, and he's feeling much better, has a new perspective on life. And Brittany dropped the bomb that, well, she's found out that yesterday that the mortgage hasn't been paid since May. Now, they show on the screen it's currently August 15th. Shoo. What's with people deciding that they don't have to pay their mortgages? Like, good Lord.
For the house that you've been living in.
Mm-hmm. She moved out and you were there, sir, and you chose to not pay? Nothing?
Honestly, it's crazy. That's like, it's crazy.
And like, who are you hurting, right? I mean, because yeah, her name's on it, but yours is too. So like, what would
But you're hurting your child at that point.
Correct. Your family. I mean, what does that do? Why would you do that? I never have understood that logic.
Nope. I mean, honestly, like, people have, again, this is why, like, I can't get over, like, Jasmine and, like, the Danny thing. Like, people are dealing with, like, real issues here.
Right.
Like, it is so, like, insane that you're focused on Danny having a shot of tequila in a pantry when, like, Brittany is dealing with, like, actual, like, real issues.
And mean, perhaps
I feel so bad for her.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was sad. And the thing that really threw her, for a loop was the fact that he never asked her for help. He never said anything. He didn't do anything. Yet what he does do is go and signs a lease somewhere else. How irresponsible, gross. Just, I can't fathom, like, really. A grown man.
What is she going to do now? Like, she's so screwed.
Totally screwed. Because once you're in full blown, I would imagine if you didn't pay since May, you're now in August, you're in foreclosure status, brief foreclosure status. But listen, the bank is not having it. I mean, who does that?
No, and you have nothing because you have a rental home you only signed like a 6-month lease for.
3 months. She did a prepaid, right? And here's the thing that I didn't mention, but to me shows how diabolical he is. Remember when he said, "Hey, I want you to move back into our home, but I have a lease over here." So he legit wanted Brittany and Cruz to move back in that home, knowing full well that
it was going to go into foreclosure.
Woo! That's diabolical.
That's even like a new low for Jax Taylor.
Yeah, it is. Because I was like, dang, when I put it all together, I was like, oh, that is awful. Because she was like, well, I can't do that because I prepaid 3 months rent right now. So I'm kind of like in this thing. Goodness gracious. Y'all. Listen.
And I'm telling you, I don't know how much money they're making, but that Valley check can't be floating 2 homes in LA.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, goodness. That's awful. That is so awful. And she basically says, look, at this point, it affects any chance of her buying another home or anything. And she says it hasn't, she says if it hasn't been paid since then, she could be looking up to upwards of $100K now. Now, like, I was doing the math and I was like, okay, the mortgage is $14K a month. May, June, July. I don't know about but the interest though and the late fees could be. I don't know that it's $100K. I think it's a little bit, but bottom line, it's more money than I'd want to have to come up with.
Yeah, and now she's gonna have to go out and get a lawyer, and the lawyer's gonna have to. She's gonna get like a mortgage like lawyer, and then she has to get like a divorce like lawyer. I mean,
all that costs money, honey. Yeah. And Brittany in confessional says if he'd have said something, she could have paid the mortgage and she could have stayed there.
Right.
But
He chose to stay there and then not pay the mortgage.
right,
Monster.
awful, complete monster. And so basically, she's like, he pulled off staying and not paying. And so she's very hurt, rightfully so. And she tells Schwartz that she can just see him saying, "Oh, I'm so excited to live next to Schwartz," and prompted him to not pay, which I don't know if that's what it was, because that's dumb. But she's not upset with Schwartz. But she said at this point, she's going to lose her dream home, her family. And that's sad. Now
It is
that
very, very sad.
very, very sad. Very. And so she's like, at this point, he's forcing her to sell her home now because she can't really think of, trying to save it at this point. It's going to cost her a mint. So, of course, now Jasmine's on a rage and she wants to go tear his signs up, which I thought was dumb. I mean, I get it. If it was my friend, I'd be mad too, but girl, you're doing the most for
This
money.
is why I think that everything she's doing is for the show. Jasmine seems, or I thought like last season, I was like, oh, I liked her. She was like different. Her attitude was like very like authentic. And I feel like now we're getting the complete opposite. Everything is like for like a show.
Well, I think last season she was a little boring, and so she's trying to like turn it up, but in the wrong way. Because I told you, like, I wasn't like even caring or feeling her. It's kind of like, well, you don't watch Summer House, so you wouldn't get the reference. But kind of like Gabby on Summer House, like, why are you there? Yeah, it's But those of you that watched, y'all can slide in and tell me, why is Gabby there, please? Because it's like her fourth season and she does nothing. But anyway, so the sad part too is at the end they kind of do a montage of Brittany and Jax, and from when they started dating and so they got married, and then they started having their issues, and then last season on the Valley, it was sad.
It was sad.
It really was, and I hate that for her. And y'all, that's basically how the episode. Well, that is how the episode ended. We are going to get into some. There's going to be another trip, believe it or not.
The mid-season trailer looked insane.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. I can't wait. So, you guys, slide in the comments. Let us know what you're thinking of the Valley so far. What did you think of last night's episode? Gosh, I mean, there's so many things. There's.
I know.
Yeah.
Am I out of pocket for my feelings about Jasmine? Someone let me know.
Slide in the comments and let Joey know. I mean, we have a little I like put like snippets on TikTok, and folks was weighing in. I have folded comments. I have not unfolded yet. I mean, you got people, all right? You got the party popping. So we're gonna do that again on TikTok too. Listen, y'all slide in the comments and let us know. I mean, listen, he said what he said.
I stand on it.
Okay. And I feel the same way. What I said about Lala. I mean, if you disagree, let me know. The way I'm feeling with Brittany, let me know. Maybe it's just my own trauma. But yeah, y'all just let us know what you're thinking of the season, the folks, the cast, Bravo things in particular. I really didn't get too much of the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
I just love Kelly. I think Kelly is one of the best things to happen in Atlanta in a long time. I think that she was made to be a housewife. I think she's funny. I think she's interesting. I think that she doesn't have to strive for a storyline. Her life is a storyline. I think she's glamorous and fabulous. Yet when she talks, she's a very down to earth normal human.
Yep.
Which we don't see very often.
No.
I just love her. I still don't know why Britt is there.
And if I was going to get into anything, it would be the sadness of why she even exists. And this last episode cemented it. Girl, I mean, I was embarrassed. I was man.
A fashion show with no fashions, and now a party with no food.
How dreadful.
How dreadful.
Ooh, it was so dreadful. Listen, I get what she's trying to do. I want to let you guys to see my world. Girl, You were at the clubhouse at the country club. I mean, I can do that.
You're at a country club, but you can't afford to feed your guests. What's happened? You fed one table.
It was
and everyone else had to sit there and watch that one table eat.
Low class. That is nuts. So tacky. That was so tacky. And like, I wouldn't even want to show my face after that. Very tacky. I mean, dang, at least you could have at least had a buffet or something that they could pay for so they could have something. I mean, the whole thing was just tacky. Like, I mean, literally, she's a joke at this point. You had your moment, and it's time for you to scoot along. Bye-bye.
Yep, and I'll tell you right now, Portia must be real mad because she's being overshadowed by Shamia.
Torn out the frame, and I think it shows her YouTube. I don't know if you've watched her on YouTube. It's cute. But it's very performative, and it's giving what she can't give you on Real Housewives. Yeah, Shamia got her. This season is Shamia's season. And I say good for you, Shamia.
Hell yeah.
If Portia was a real friend, it would have gone in a very different way. I don't like the shade. I don't like the playing dumb. Girl, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. And is it Shamia's fault that you picked wrong? Wrong African.
But again, like, she could have played this so different because her storyline fell when like the divorce was happening and all this, right? So it wasn't going to be what she thought when she signed up, and it was going to be this like fabulous like life she was like living. But Shamia is going to be the fan favorite, and Shamia is going to be, or already is, the breakout star. If you had latched on to her, you would have had a great season.
A great season, and we would have expected you to because we thought y'all were besties from like back in the day, and it would have been like sisters. Like I would have expected you to have been there cheering her on. It would have been endearing.
Yep.
You would have still been the Portia we know and love.
Yep.
And let me just say this, because Phaedra made her quick appearance, and she did do the shade assassin thing that she did. I was here for it. But if you think that the freaking frack thing is going to win everybody in these last few scenes, you are wrong. Nobody cares.
No, and I also think that they waited too long to bring Phaedra back.
Yeah. Like every time Andy was like, "Oh no, she'll be on in like 5 weeks," and I was like, "Huh?" He wasn't lying. And like they're going on a cast trip to Grenada. You know, Phaedra's not going to give anything because she lies. She doesn't tell what's really going on in her life. It is so exhausting. She's a character.
And again, right? And that's the thing, like 2 separate worlds, right? I think that Bravo was banking off of her being like this huge star on like the Traitors, but it's a totally different world than the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And it's not going to land the same way. Plus, a lot of people are still on that train, and I don't blame them. They will never forget what she did to Kandi Burruss.
I can't forget it. And I'm not even a Kandi fan. I thought it was so foul.
Yeah.
And it was so gross. And I'm thinking, I don't think she should. I mean, I get why they brought her back.
Bravo always rewards bad behavior.
I swear they do, because that was so foul. I mean, really, it was. It really was. And the fact that she's back, and then they kind of like played on that, and then they skirted like a little light pop on the hand, but nah, that's not cool. I'm still weirded out by that. Again, Phaedra really is not going to give enough to save anything. What they thought they were going to do to save it, it didn't. You know, you do though have Shamia. What I would love to see, get the rest of them all. Let's do Shamia, Kelly. I know you don't like Angela Oakley, but I do. I think.
God.
Joey,
melatonin in human form.
Listen, you gotta see it though. She is never gonna be that over the top, but what she brings is a husband that is an NJ legend. She has a husband, and the banter, the fact that she's never gonna be the rah girl, but she does give that subtle. She still comes in with shade. She holds her own.
Oh yeah, and she says it like she doesn't have to get like loud about it. But yeah, I get that. I just
she appeals to someone that maybe even Kelly, because I love Kelly, but let's say Kelly turns someone off because maybe they think she's over the top because she's got little cha-cha looking crazy and da-da-da-da-da. I think that's Kelly. I think she's got this bubbly, bigger than life personality. I love it. Let's say she's not for everybody, but Angela gives that subtle, I can still rock in this world, but I can be honest about the fact that I have real estate that I'm upside down in, trying to sell it. Like, people like that too. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
So, I like her. But you guys, let us know what you think. Or how do you feel about Miss Oakley? I love Kelly.
Love.
Shamia,
Love.
Drew.
I'm so sad because last season I was like Drew's like #1 supporter, and I was like, I don't care if they scrap the whole cast and you only bring Drew back. I was like, she has a storyline. I think she's interesting. I really, really liked her on like the show. And then this season, I'm like, girl, this is like really not a good look. She's a huge liar, and everything she's doing, I feel like is like for show. And I don't even care about her and Ralph. Like, I'll be honest, I am bored. She got to go.
I agree, and I felt that way last season. I was like, "Girl, bye, stop it." It's very performative. You are straight up lying. Like, it's not
well, she had me
giving
fooled
Bryn.
last season, but not this season.
You
She
said
had
what?
me fooled. She had me fooled.
Okay,
last
okay,
season,
all right. Well,
but
I'll
not this season.
But at least your eyes are open now. Yes, Drew's
They
boring.
are.
Go bye bye. Go back to the game and still med school's man again, but get off of Housewives, no ma'am. And yeah, so that's kind of how we're feeling. Y'all let us know what you think. And please come back next week. Well, we are going to be recapping the episode 8 of The Valley. And we'll still let you know what we're thinking about a Real Housewives of Atlanta. Probably get into some Love Hotel and whatever else. And we're going to bring to you very soon the Real Housewives of Miami. So stay tuned for that too.
I can't wait.
I know, right? All right, guys. Well, as always, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscription button and hit that notification bell so that you'll be the first to know when we drop this good content. All right, guys. Have a good night. Bye.